Hey, drop. Yeah, hey, drop.
Welcome back to another episode of the Audible. I'm your man, God of Dots. I know it's been a minute. It's been a minute, but I wanted to kind of get out some NBA free agency news, some NFL news. You know, strike while the iron is kind of hot. Hope everybody's had a good week, man. We almost made it to Friday. Hope you have a good weekend ahead. 4th of July next week. You know, get together with friends, family barbecue, and all that good stuff. Yeah. Brother be doing something like that. Just won't be outside with it. I do not do the heat. But yeah, let's kind of start off with the NFL news, and then we're going to kind of give a preview for the NBA free agency, which starts tomorrow. Officially starts tomorrow at 6:00. We have some news kind of drop today as far as setting up the storm, or will it be a storm? I don't know, but hey, I'm getting too far ahead of myself. Let's focus on the NFL news. NFL has come down with the latest suspension involving players gambling. Those players have received indefinite suspensions, which pretty much means those guys are gone for the year. One player ended up getting suspended for just 6 games. And his situation was a little bit different, and it caused me to kind of really look at the NFL guidelines when we're talking about gambling. Now, we know gambling on your team is illegal. The NFL has pretty much said, like, you can gamble, but there's certain guidelines you must follow. And these guys, these players, trying to skirt the system, trying to be smarter than what they are. And I hate to say it like that, but, it is what it is. But, yeah, they got caught gambling. Those guys have been suspended indefinitely. You think guys would have learned from Calvin Ridley's mistake? Calvin Ridley, who ended up being one of the first players under the new rules with NFL and gambling to get suspended. He was suspended all last year. Eventually traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars for a 2nd-round pick. He will be back this season. But he cost himself a lot of money, cost himself millions, because when you're suspended, you're not getting paid. And when you look at the list of the guys who ended up getting suspended today, like I said, the NFL finally handed out punishment suspensions. When you look at these guys, with the exception of the guy that got 6 games, these other guys are fringe players. And, when you're in the NFL, fringe players, and you guys know who I'm talking about, those guys that can be easily replaced. You guys are just a name. You guys are fringe players. Nothing, congratulations to make it to the NFL. Congratulations for sticking in the NFL. But unless you're a star or a very key piece of a team, you will consider fringe player. Every team has them. Those guys may not think of themselves as fringe players, but the reality is they are fringe players. You understand what I'm saying? Fringe players. But yeah, NFL handed out suspensions, and it caused me to kind of look, especially with the guy that got 6 games, Nicholas Petit-Frere. I'm not sure if I'm saying his name. Offensive lineman for the Tennessee Titans, ended up getting 6 games. The other 3 guys who have already been cut due to even being under investigation for gambling on the NFL. Those guys have been suspended indefinitely. Pretty much means they're gone for the year. Have a chance to be reinstated the upcoming season, but the prospects of their career going forward is kind of dim. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's kind of dim. Shout out to them. Hope you had a backup plan. I hope you had something in place. If not, it sucks to be you. But like I said, I had to look at the NFL guidelines when it comes to gambling, and some of these 6 key rules of gambling that the league emphasizes with their players. They do it for the rookies coming in with the rookie symposium, do it periodically throughout the year, and reinforcing the NFL stance when it comes to gambling. You don't want your sport, you don't want any sport to have the participants, the athletes, to be involved with gambling in, especially when we're talking about gambling in some situations, gambling on their own sport is kind of deemed unethical. It undercuts the true spirit of competition when you think guys are point shaving, taking dives, that kind of stuff. If those who are baseball fans know what I'm talking about, the Black Sox era back in, what was it, 1918, Chicago White Sox with their situation as far as guys betting on games, point shaving and stuff. And we've seen stories like this pop up throughout the years when we're talking about sports and gambling. But like I said, the NFL has 6 key rules um, that they like to emphasize with the players. And a couple of these had me kind of scratching my head, but I kind of get it. The number one rule is don't bet on the NFL. What some of these players got caught doing was placing bets on NFL games, not games that they were necessarily playing in, except for one guy who ended up betting on like a fantasy style bet on his own team as far as like a player getting a certain amount of yards during a particular game. He got caught making that bet. But these guys, don't bet on the NFL. The NFL allows their players to gamble, but it's certain guidelines you must follow. And you would think common sense will rule, common sense will be prevalent, and they would know, hey, don't bet on anything NFL related. Be safe. You want to bet on boxing, bet on the UFC, bet on some basketball games. Do not bet on the NFL. And I don't care if you're injured, you're out for the year, do not get caught betting. Just like it's I don't know. It blows my mind of a player in these days and times thinking they can be slick with the way technology is, way social media is kind of stuff. I think you can be slick and try to skirt that rule. And that's rule number one. Don't bet on the NFL. The second rule, they kind of caught my attention, which led to the Tennessee offensive lineman getting the 6 games that he got. He wasn't gambling on NFL games, and wasn't gambling on NFL teams, but he was gambling, through his phone, was placing bets on other sporting events at the team facility. And this is one of their cardinal rules also with the NFL. Don't gamble at your team facility, whether you're traveling to a road game or staying at a team hotel, anything team related or team facility. And they consider when you on the road being at a team facility. They consider when you flying being, those are team charter flights. And especially don't do it at the practice facility. Don't do it at the stadium. Don't do it, in the office. I mean, just don't, anything that you think is related to the team as far as property and would be considered a team location and is holding an official function, do not gamble. The Tennessee offensive lineman got 6 games. Like I said, he didn't bet on anything NFL, but he got caught making bets in quote unquote NFL facilities, which is, dumb. When you really break it down, is really dumb. I mean, and I get it, man. You just gotta be smarter. Be smarter. You've cost yourself 6 game checks. Then the NFL is going to be looking at you very closely when you come back. Be really monitoring your behavior. And like I said at the beginning, they're like, the NFL is watching. The NFL is watching. They don't want anything that can undermine their product. Anything that can be seen as a negative for their product, they're all on. The players get suspended for crimes that they never got charged with because it undermines the product. It undermines the brand. Like, and you think you placing bets in a team facility, and whether you was betting on NFL games or not, you at a team facility when you should be focused on the task in hand, training in the film room, weight room, in treatment, recovery, learning the playbook. You up there placing bets on your phone and think the NFL is not tracking that? Oh man. And this number 3 is what got a lot of these players caught up. They thought, well, if I don't place the bet, I have somebody to place the bet for me. And this is rule number 3, one of the key rules of the NFL's gambling policy. Do not have someone bet for you. You have Indianapolis Colts player Isaiah Rodgers, who was on the precipice of being placed into a possible starting position this upcoming season with the departure of Stephon Gilmore to Dallas. This young man got caught having other people place bets for him. And like I said, it wasn't a large amount. If you heard me report on this story when it first broke, it wasn't large amount, $25, $50, but you're having people placing the bets. And don't think just, the NFL doesn't have a database where they keep track of not only what you're doing, but those around you. They know who your entourage is. They know who your circle is, and they're watching them. They're watching them. You guys learn nothing from the Mike Vick situation. Like, if anything shady, I don't want no. Me personally, I wouldn't want no part of it. Why are your friends coming to you asking you to place bets? Like, nah, I can't be involved with that. I can't be seen making that kind of financial commitment. Like I said, it wasn't a lot of money to them. It wasn't a lot of money, but $25, $50 bets. You talking about, he had placed up to about 100 bets over the past season. You're talking about, a couple grand. I mean, but still, now it's cost you potentially your career because you wanted to have people place bets for you. And like I was saying, as far as the Mike Vick situation, don't think your circle is too solid. Scarface had a quote a long time ago, and it stuck with me, and I've lived with it. How you doing, Miss VS? It stuck with me, and it lived with me from the moment I heard it, and it's always resonated with me. You find out who your friend is when they start passing time around. When the pressure gets on and they start talking about consequences for actions, you start to really see who your friends are when they start passing time around. I mean, typically that's a quote you can translate to street stuff as far as like, snitching and that kind of stuff. But it also works in a professional sense. It's also work in your personal life. To those who not street related, you start finding out who your friends are when they start passing time around. And like I said, when we're talking about consequences to actions, like who is really ready to fall on a sword for you. And you think, oh, it's a family, we grew up together, they my kinfolk. If you learn nothing from Michael Vick's situation, learn that. Learn that. But these guys, they got suspended. They're gone for the year and potentially going out the NFL. It's going to be a hard time. You're out for a year. You can stay in shape, you can train, but it's nothing like training in NFL facilities with NFL staff, having access to NFL medical facilities if you need it. You just can't compare doing that on your own. If you don't believe me, ask Zeke. Zeke training out in Cabo, it just wasn't the same. He wasn't the same physically after the wear and tear took its toll on his body. It's a reason why players visit the team facility in the off season, get their workout done there. So like they said, these guys are gone for the year. It's going to be hard for them to kind of stay in peak NFL shape. And then you have that stigma, you have that stain on your name, that you were caught gambling. What's to say that another team brings you in? What's to stop them from saying, well, are you going to gamble on our games? Or are you going to continue the same behavior if we give you a chance? And these guys are not guaranteed roster spot. We're not talking about superstar players. We're not talking about guys that are first round picks, have a lot of guaranteed money. We're talking about guys are fringe players. Fringe. I mean, Calvin Ridley and Jameson Williams are the only real two big names to get suspended over the past couple of years when we're talking about the NFL and gambling. But these other guys, you fringe players, why are you taking that chance? You're not in a position to do that. If they can suspend a Tom Brady for 4 games for something that technically they couldn't prove in a court of law, he was never charged with, what makes you think your third string behind is going to get away with it? Goofy. Real goofy to me. Real goofy to me. But hey, you live and you learn. You live and you learn, and you've learned a very hard lesson. A couple of these last couple of rules should be kind of self-explanatory, like rule number 1. Don't share team inside information. Don't enter a sports book during the NFL season. Like, is it that serious? Is it that serious? sharing inside information. Come on, man. Like this stuff's got to be common sense at this point. It's got to be common sense. But unfortunately for these guys, it's not common sense. But fortunately for me, it is news to report on. Yeah, you just got to shake your head, man. At the end of the day, you just got to shake your head. You got to shake your head at this stuff. So that's kind of done with the NFL news. As far as the NFL is concerned, as far as me and mine, still working on some stuff, trying out some new software to try to make it easier to kind of put out the content that I said I was gonna do. I'm one of them people. If I say I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna try to do it. Come hell or high water, but like I said, we're working on that. But let's not get sidetracked with that. I want to kind of get into NBA free agency, which starts tomorrow at 6 p.m. But it's already kind of started. Pieces have been moved, rumors have been put out. We've already had some trades last week, some very big trades as far as like key players being moved, kind of changes the landscape. And the new CBA goes into effect July 1st. And with this new CBA, it changes the scope of how teams do business when we're talking about free agency, when we're talking about contracts and building teams. No longer will teams just be able to spend to keep talent, to bring in talent. Teams are going to have to start making some real hard choices. If you've been watching and been paying attention, Atlanta Hawks forward John Collins was traded to the Utah Jazz pretty much as a cap saving move. As a cap saving move, it allowed Atlanta to come in under the new threshold for the luxury tax. Utah gets a borderline when he's right, a borderline all-star player. Not that they necessarily need him on that front line. They already have a good start in 4, good start in 5. I think John Collins can get some benefits. He stays with the team, but he got moved for contract purposes, and this is the effect of the new CBA. But as far as the new CBA and what's taking effect, you had James Harden, who finally, the day before free agency starts, opted into his contract, has told the Philadelphia 76ers he wants a trade. He said he wants out. He wants to go somewhere else. And by him opting into his contract, you would think it would limit his options, but it actually expands his options. Teams can now approach the 76ers with a possible sign and trade for James Harden. His cap number, I want to say, is 35 million for this upcoming season. So it allows teams, if they really want to pursue James Harden, to seek out a sign and trade with the Philadelphia 76ers. 76ers, I mean, I had a feeling James was going to come back, but with the news breaking, he only opted in to be traded. Where does he go? Where does he go? Where does he go? Who has, and you have to think about this with the new CBA. Who has the money? Who has the salary to match? Who has the pieces to really pursue James Harden? And will it be a championship contending team at this point? Like I said, teams are making moves with the salary cap in mind, more so this offseason than any other offseason. I don't expect it to be wild and crazy. I don't expect a lot of money to be flying around. Guys are going to have to make some hard choices. I'm talking about a free agent is going to have to make some hard choices on what's more important to you. Is it the money, or is it success? As far as winning and being competitive, being in the playoffs, competing for a championship. What's more important to you? James Harden opting into his contract. I think at this point I think James is looking for one big last contract. Because if it was about winning, unless you're willing to take a severe pay cut to go somewhere else, I thought Philadelphia will be the best option for you to stay there. As far as you be in a position to possibly have a deep playoff run. I know Philadelphia is kind of set up to go deep into the playoffs with James Harden, but I think James is looking for a payday. Who's going to be willing to give it to him? Because anybody that does a sign and trade with James is going to have to go in with the expectations that he's going to want to sign an extension. The team's going to want him to sign an extension. James is going to want to sign an extension because they're not trading any significant pieces for a James Harden rental. They're not doing it. Now, you may have a team like the Utah Jazz who has the cap space to take on that kind of contract, just for contract purposes. But they're not giving up any significant capital, any kind of draft picks, just for a 1 year rental of a James Harden, who is not, the MVP that he was still a good player, but it's not the MVP that he was. But hey, we'll see. We'll see. It's also been reported that Kyrie Irving has informed his agent that he will be meeting. He wants to meet with the Phoenix Suns first. Once again, we're talking about money getting in the way. Kyrie is up for a possible max contract. Is he willing to take? And I'm talking about if he goes to Phoenix, we're talking about taking severely less money that he could possibly make by re-signing with the Dallas Mavericks. Kyrie to Phoenix, I don't see it. I mean, it sounds good, but I don't see Kyrie coming in and playing for chump change. And if you bring in Kyrie, possible sign and trade, let's say Phoenix is able to kind of work out a deal, they can do a sign and trade for a Kyrie to bring him in. You got to give up Ayton. And the only reason I say you got to give up Ayton, Bill's not going anywhere, Book's not going anywhere, KD's not going anywhere. Ayton is, you only got 5 guys on the contract. Let's keep it, keep it funky. Phoenix ain't got no bench. I think if you trade away Ayton, I mean, you got 5 perimeter players. Who you going to bring in for the rebound, and who you going to bring in for that big man presence that you're obviously going to need out west. You need a competent and enough big man. How you can't just say we're just going to outscore everybody. That's not going to work. You're not going to beat Denver like that. You tried it. You wouldn't beat the Lakers like that. You need guys down low to compete in the Western Conference. You just do. So Phoenix bringing in Kyrie, I don't see it. I think it's just a bluff. I don't see Kyrie coming in playing for chump change. Possibly leaving over $200-something million on the floor, just so he can be part of another super team. I just don't see it. I think it's just a strategy on his part by his agent by releasing that news. But like I said, Kyrie is a free agent. He will be shopping in services. And with Kyrie, you never know. You never know. Kyrie is probably the most unpredictable superstar probably in the last 10 years in regards to the NBA, as far as like the kind of moves that he's going to make, his thought process. Like nobody knows. Nobody knows like how serious he is about possibly trying to join the Phoenix Suns. Like, okay. You never know with Kyrie. Kyrie could throw us for a curveball, come in, play for chump change, and I'll be up here sounding stupid for predicting he wouldn't. But I don't think it's happening. I think if Kyrie wants his money. As part of the hangout why he got traded out of Brooklyn because of his money. They wouldn't give him the max contract that he was looking for. I think Dallas is kind of in a position, unless they can get back significant pieces for Kyrie, they may have to just swallow the bullet and give him the money that he's asking for. What other options do you have? You gave up a lot to get him for half the season. You gave up assets to get him. So at this point, you got to pay him. But it's possible Dallas, a team can come in interested in wanting to really bring Kyrie in, possibly work out a sign and trade. That's always an option. Another thing I'm looking forward to as far as NBA free agency is concerned is what is Russell Westbrook going to do? I know that he has shown his love for playing with the Clippers, has come out and acknowledged that he would love to be back with the Clippers. The thing is, they don't have the money. They can only offer him, I want to say, a $3.8 million contract for the upcoming year. They can't offer him no longevity, can't offer him no long years, can't offer him no money. Is Russ really going to come out, after making $47 million this past season, really drop down to $3 million to say, I play in LA? So you may see Russ on the move. Some of the contenders that I've been reading about as far as like being interested in Russell Westbrook, bringing him in. Chicago is one place. Miami is a dark horse, depending on what goes on with Dame Lillard. Dame Lillard has not really come out and said, trade me. He's kind of been really non-committal, really kind of quiet since they drafted Scoot Henderson in the draft last week. So he really hasn't come out and said what he wants to do, what his plans are. He's kind of in a wait and see. What is Portland going to do this offseason to bring in competent players? Will they be, doing a full rebuild, or can they bring in some key pieces to possibly get Portland back into the playoff hunt? I'm of this mindset. It's no players right now that I see that's on the market. And it's just my guess, because you never know with these guys. There's no player on the market that I see coming in taking less money to come to Portland, and be shooting for the play-in. I mean, I wish Dame would, and this is my own personal opinion. Wish Dame would just hang it up, move out, go to Miami, chase the title, man. You've done all you can in Portland. You put Portland on the map. You kept Portland on the map. It's time to be selfish. It's time to be selfish. You're not getting any younger. You're past 30. You're not getting any younger. You have a history of injuries over the last couple seasons. Maximize what you have left. I think Miami would be the perfect fit. I think he fits in with the culture. I think he would get along with Bam, with Jimmy. So we're kind of waiting to see if that piece moves. If that piece moves, a lot of guys are kind of waiting to see. A lot of guys kind of wait and see. Draymond Green is another situation you kind of wait and see. He can possibly get over $100 million as far as a new contract. Will he come back to Golden State? Golden State has made it clear as far as the key people involved. Steve Kerr, Steph have said, we don't have Dre without a championship team. Do we do it for the love of the brotherhood? Do we come back on a discounted rate to help the team out as far as the salary cap situation? I don't know. Draymond is going to have his suitors. He's going to have his pick. I think any team that's not looking to bring Draymond in, if they have the money to do so, is crazy. I'm of the mindset, if I can get Dre in LA, I would love it. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to front. Give me Draymond Green and the headache that comes with him. You need dogs like that want to win. But I think Golden State is kind of set the stage for him to return. After they traded Jordan Poole, got rid of that mini cancer they had in their locker room. So they got rid of him. So I mean, Draymond may be back, but NBA, like I said, NBA free agency starts tomorrow. Those who have watched the sport long enough, hey, no, it's already started. Agents have already been talking. Deals have already kind of been worked out. Typically with the NBA free agency, the first 5 days is when the majority of the moves are made. Agents have already started working. But it doesn't officially start till 6 o'clock tomorrow. I'm curious to see where some of the top players go, because like I said, with the new CBA, it really changes the landscape of what teams are able to do and what the kind of players they're able to bring in, the contracts they're able to bring in. If you haven't had a chance to kind of look up the new CBA, check it out. It goes into effect July 1st, which is funny because free agency starts tomorrow, but it goes into effect July 1st. Teams are going to have to start making some real tough decisions on what they want to do with their franchises going forward. Me personally, I love it. I think the new CBA kind of allows more parity. Because teams are going to have to really, have homegrown talent, do a lot more work as far as scouting for the draft, finding the right kind of free agents at the right kind of deals. And players are going to have to adjust too. Everybody's not going to get paid under the new CBA. Yes, a lot more money. It's potentially a lot more money coming in with the NBA getting ready to renegotiate their TV deals. I want to say on their last TV deals, they was able to bring in about $24 billion into the league. With inflation and that kind of stuff. And it's been a while since they did that deal. The reports are they're looking to bring in at least twice, maybe 3 times as much coming in. So there's going to be money for the league, but I don't know if it's necessarily going to be money for the players. And how the new CBA is set up is going to really limit teams going over that luxury tax, that second threshold, because it's penalties involved. There's penalties involved, and you're going to see the effects tomorrow when free agency starts. What guys are able to do. Back, about 2 or 3 years ago, a Kyrie hitting the open market would have been a frenzy. A Westbrook hitting the market would have been a frenzy. But teams, like I said, teams are going to have to start making real tough decisions as far as the salary cap, and players, you're going to have to adjust. You're going to have to adjust unless you're one of those superstars who know you're going to get a super max. You're going to have to adjust. Jalen Green is a perfect example. Jalen Green is up for a $295 million extension. Will Boston give it to him? I mean, you have Porzingis under contract. Jason Tatum's got to get paid. I didn't even know, and I had to look at the team roster. I didn't know Derek White was making $18 million this upcoming season. So teams are the salary cap is going to be a major issue. But for me, I like it. It creates parity. It allows the talent to be more spread out. No longer will we have. I think the era of the super teams is fading. I think Denver winning the NBA title this year really solidifies that, hey, you don't need a super team to do it. You just need, good two strong players, and good role players, guys who know their position, and good coaching, and you can go forward. The Miami Heat showed you, hey, all you need is a good system in place, good coaching, smart players. You can make it to the NBA Finals. So, I mean, like I said, I'm looking forward to that. That'll be 6 o'clock tomorrow. I will be doing a show tomorrow. I want to kind of get back in the routine of doing these. I know I said I was going to kind of cut back on them, but yeah, I miss being on the microphone. I ain't gonna lie to you. I miss being on the microphone, and I need to practice as I work on the new software that I'm using, as far as like doing my uploads and that kind of stuff. Like I said, I want to diversify the content around here, do something a little bit different than what I'm used to doing. It's a process, so I ain't gonna lie to you. So it's a process, but I'm working through it. Thanks for coming and tune in and supporting the show, listening to the show. I know this is not everybody's cup of tea. And those that know, hey, I'm used to doing other stuff in other places, but this is like my it's like my happy space, man. My happy space. I get to talk about sports. Okay, corporate boss. Yes, Miss VS. Like I said, I'm working on some other stuff. As far as like getting familiar with some new software. I'm trying some stuff, but I don't want to put nothing out that's be like, what the hell is you know, what is he doing over there? Like, I want to I'm taking cues from other people, Some I'm watching closely as far as their content, how they're kind of structuring stuff, how they're kind of putting stuff together. I may start doing more daily, kind of like do a daily upload on something going on, instead of like just letting it, just be out there. But you know how the sports cycle is, man. A lot of stuff happened late at night. I ain't gonna lie to you. After like 9 o'clock, most days, I'm not really in a content creating mood. I like to kind of get my stuff off, chill, relax, and get ready for the next day. Yeah, and at least I mean, I believe that, Miss VS. I believe that I've already kind of grown, as far as kind of with the software I was using. I'm still tinkering with that too. But doing my first upload with that software, as far as like punching in, punching out, getting the audio, like I said, I'm taking tips, taking cues from other people, seeing how they doing it. You know, the whole goal is to work smarter, not harder. If I can do something a little bit easier than what I've been doing, let me do that. Um, in the other realm, I will be doing a show tomorrow. I will be doing a show on Sunday. Sunday will be more of I want to make it not, I don't want to call it build, but I want to make the Sunday show that I'm planning on doing, make it kind of like a weekly thing, to where grown people can kind of get together and talk about grown folk stuff without the nonsense. Um, you know, Something like that. But anyway, like I said, appreciate everybody for coming out. Remember, like, share, subscribe, and all the good stuff. Thank you, everybody, for whoever comments, watches. I'm appreciative, always appreciative, because you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. Oh, I said when I came back I was gonna have an outro. I still don't have an outro. I need something that's catchy, that's sports related. I can't think of nothing that doesn't sound corny to do it. So thank y'all for coming out, man. Still no outro, but I'm out.